Coming up in this bulletin, over 380 diplomatic and service passports retrieved in exercise issued by President Mahama. And Ama Kofi Boa, Tia Ibrahim, Dr. Frank Amwakohene, and Akamugri Atanga Donatus to face Appointments Committee for vetting as ministers. We've got this and more coming right up. Around 380 diplomatic and service passports have been retrieved in a recall exercise ordered by President John Dramani Mahama. The directive, which expired on January 24, 2025, sought to reclaim such passports issued by the erstwhile government. In a bid to sanitize the system, moving forward, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration is assuring the use of stricter and more stringent measures to assess candidates for extraordinary passports. Now, supporters of the National Democratic Congress in the Ifutu Central Region on Friday staged a dramatic protest setting office equipment ablaze over the exclusion of their 2024 parliamentary candidate, James Kofi Annan, from recent government appointments. The angry supporters stormed the NDC constituency office, forcibly breaking in to remove furniture and equipment, which they set on fire. Their frustration stems from what they see as a broken campaign promised by President John Dramani Mahama, whom they claim assured Dr. Annan of a government position during the election campaign.
The unruly conduct by some party members in Ifutu on Friday, January 24, marks the third major incident of its kind since President Mahama began appointing ministers and heads of agencies. The unrest began with protests in Bolibamboy and host central constituencies where aggrieved party members destroyed property, claiming their constituencies were neglected in ministerial nominations. These actions have been widely condemned by civil society organizations and concerned Ghanaians. In response, the Volta regional executives of the NDC and the Asogli state issued strong statements denouncing these acts of lawlessness, urging disgruntled members to seek redress through appropriate channels. While such acts are criminal in nature, the police have yet to provide any updates on any arrests or actions taken against the perpetrators. These instances of post-election violence fall squarely under the remit of the Election Security Task Force, which must act decisively. Adding to the concern is a conspicuous silence from the national leadership of the NDC, who have yet to publicly call their members to order. This apparent lack of accountability has seemingly emboldened some party members in Ifutu to resort to lawlessness.
Pay one bread who will put to constituency. NDC, Yabaka, Kofia, Yababa, Kofia, Mayabe Biara, Kofia, and paying for my some day. Said you are crowding Huma. Nasanya Kofi will boo. Nayana Yaya to my son. Nasa NDC, I may your Kunda Yaba Benima. Hey, ya papa. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
In Ifutu, protesters claimed their parliamentary candidate was sidelined in government appointments, prompting their outbursts.
Ya papa, Otse the Masami. Nana Mobio to no obey. Ya papa, may I show that when you somewhere could do Ifutu. When you might say intimidations, how? But also the Yenim that you win the do a woman. Ya to me, I could have a queen in Nasanya Mosum Queen Zina Mayana. Ya to toss Zibiu biara kofi osafata no one man. Possession biara Dr. James Kofi and who deserve no one man. No futu yana kumanto yeliyem.
But questions remain. Is there no better or more civilized way to address grievances? Should property be destroyed because a candidate wasn't included in initial government appointments? Taking Efutu's case as an example, there are 88 NDC parliamentary candidates who lost the 2024 elections. Even if appointments are reserved for them, not all can be accommodated in positions of the promised lean governments.
Now, government will today, January 27, consider the nomination of some 4 ministers designate appointed by President John Dramani Mahama. Now, facing the committee today are Ama Kufi-Boa, Minister Designate for Lands and Natural Resources, Tia Ibrahim, Minister Designate for North East Region, Dr. Frank Amwakohene, Minister Designate for the Ashanti Region, and Akamugri Atanga Donatus, Minister Designate for the Upper East Region. Now, the 4 are expected to be vetted between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has set up a 7-member National Economic Dialogue Planning Committee chaired by Dr. Ishmael Yamson to prepare for the National Economic Dialogue. The dialogue forms part of the President's 120-day social contract with Ghanaians and aims to address the country's development challenges, build consensus on reforms, and transform Ghana into a high-growth, inclusive, and resilient economy. The statement, signed by acting spokesperson to the President, Felix Kwachi Ofosu, outlined the key initiatives and plans of the administration, providing clarity on its vision and objectives. The committee includes Dr. K.Y. Amwako, Professor John Gachi, Mohamed Samara, Nelly Miraku, Anthony Sapong, and Ernest de Graft Ejiri. The committee has 4 weeks to deliver a report covering agenda setting, speaker coordination, logistics management, and documentation of the dialogue. Now, on the foreign front, the White House says the U.S. will not go ahead with tariffs on Colombia following Bogota's agreement to accept without restrictions deported migrants. U.S. President Donald Trump had ordered 25% tariffs on all Colombian goods after its president barred 2 military deportation flights from landing in the country on Sunday. Colombian President Gustavo Petro had initially responded by saying his country would accept repatriated citizens on civilian planes without treating them like criminals. A White House statement says Colombia has now agreed to accept migrants arriving on U.S. military aircraft without limitation or delay. Colombia said a dialogue would be maintained to guarantee the dignity of their citizens. Well, that's all we have for this morning's GH Today News. My name is Nanama Aqua. For more news updates, click on starfm.com.gh. But do stay with us as we have more on the morning show and the vetting ongoing today.